Why do some teachers, or even whole schools of Qigong, say that one exercise is for one particular thing, and a different teacher or a different school will say that that same exercise is for something quite different? That's what we're going to talk about in this episode of Qi Life. So the world of Qigong is incredibly diverse, which I think is a wonderful, wonderful thing. There are literally thousands and thousands of styles of Qigong. And within those thousands of styles of Qigong, you will see a lot of really different things, but you'll also see some of the same things, the same exercises, the same movements in common across many of those different styles, many of those different sets and forms within these different schools. Now, sometimes you'll see them and it will be very clear and they'll be doing the same movement for the same purpose. Other times you'll see one school doing a movement and saying it's for X, and another school saying it's for Y. Does that mean that one is right and the other is wrong? In my experience, no. Often, most of the time, particularly if it comes from a good school, a school that has retained its knowledge, unfortunately, often knowledge hasn't been transmitted all that well and passed on. But if it's a school that has retained its knowledge, yes, both are often correct, which is interesting. Same exercise, different benefit. I'm going to explain that in just a moment. So I'm going to use one Qigong exercise as a way to demonstrate this, or to talk about it at least, and demonstrate a few details to do with it. So the exercise I'm going to use at Long White Cloud Qigong, we normally refer to this as one arm raising. But if you look across, you'll see this exercise in many different sets of Qigong exercises in many different schools. Some may use the same name, some may use a different name. This is the way that we normally do it. Feet close together if you're able to. If you're not, it's okay to have them a bit wider. You breathe in, and then you breathe out, coming up onto the balls of your feet and looking up. I know you can't see all my feet and everything, but this is not designed specifically as a tutorial on the exercise, but to discuss the principle here. So we breathe in, we breathe out, we breathe in, and we breathe out. Okay. So what am I stimulating as I do this exercise, this movement? Well, there's a whole lot of things that I'm stimulating really. As I extend my arm like this, to some extent, I'm stimulating all of the meridians in my arm as it pushes up. There's stimulation all through my arm as it stretches. There's stimulation all through this arm. So to some extent, it's going to be stimulating all of the different meridians in my arm. There's different things going on with my back and so on. There's a whole lot of things that all get stimulated at once. So from that point of view, in terms of generally getting my energy flowing, I'm working on expanding and stretching and then gathering back together, expanding and stretching, gathering back together. You know, this is going to affect a whole lot of things in my body. But the question is, what is the focus of the exercise? Are we just generally trying to expand and move the energy, or are we trying to use it for something more specific? In this instance, one of the things that we often use this for at Long White Cloud Qigong is for stimulating the stomach meridian. So when we do this, stimulate the stomach meridian. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details of how that works in this video. If you look at the Qigong Foundation Practices or the 12 Rivers Practices course, you're going to find details on a whole lot of different exercises for different meridians and how exactly the movement works to stimulate those meridians. But with some awareness, you can feel, hopefully, that the stomach meridian runs sort of through here, through the body. You can feel this. The stomach meridian is relatively central to the middle of the body. And you can hopefully feel some of that stretching, pulling stimulation through that central path. Well, this exercise, or very similar, is often used by other people for the spleen meridian. Well, I mean, obviously there's a link there. They're both earth element, spleen and stomach. They're both paired in the earth element. But why do we use it for the stomach where someone else uses it for the spleen? I'll give you a little hint. The way people usually do this for the spleen meridian, generally they will have their feet a bit wider, shoulder width apart, and with the hands, instead of the hands coming up right on the center line, the hands go out to the side. This makes quite a significant difference to how the specific stimulation through the meridians goes. It's still stimulating right through the arms, right through the body, but the specific focus shifts. When our hands are on the center line, the focus tends to be more on the center line. We can feel that kind of stretching tension more on the center line. When our hands shift out to the side, and you can try this, maybe you can follow along, try this for yourself. Simply don't worry about going onto the balls of your feet, because you might get a bit confused as you move your hands trying different things, but just stay with your feet down, press your hands apart on the center line, hopefully you can feel a bit of a pull quite central, and then shift them out back to the center line, shift them out, center line, shift them out. As they shift out, the stretch moves more into the sides of the ribs, right? And then through the spleen meridian, essentially. So instead of it coming right up through here, the spleen meridian comes here, and so it starts to stimulate this part more. So this small change, moving from having the hands on the center line to out here, changes the focus of how the energy flows through the body for this exercise. So you're going to find lots and lots of examples of this, particularly if you explore widely in Qigong, where you'll see the same exercise, or almost the same exercise, being used and described as for quite different things. Now, sometimes people are just wrong. That does happen. But most of the time, if you understand enough, you can find how they're changing things to actually use something that's almost the same to stimulate the energy in sometimes a quite different way. Sometimes it can be little things as simple as pointing the ball of your foot versus pressing out with your heel. And this creates a big change in where the energy stimulation goes through the rest of your body. So, hopefully this helps to clarify some things for you. Hopefully this, if you're a beginner, some of these differences probably are not going to be immediately obvious to you. But at least hopefully it gives you the start of understanding how this can occur, how a similar exercise can be used for different things by making small changes. So, if you are learning some traditional exercises, I suggest for a start, try to follow the demonstration and the instructions as clearly and as closely as you can for that exercise to try to get the specific benefits that are trying to be achieved with that. Then work to really become aware of your own energy so you can feel the change as there are small differences. This will help to focus your practice if you're trying to get a specific benefit, to help to ensure that what you're doing is getting you that specific benefit. And also, if possible, find a good teacher who is going to help you to be able to identify what you're doing within an exercise, who is going to be able to give you feedback to help you to, if you're not doing the exercise or not getting the benefit that's expected from an exercise, to help you to fine-tune the exercise in a way that is going to give you that benefit and is going to help the energy flow the way you want to. As I mentioned in the last vlog, none of this is anything you need to worry about too much. As I like to say, if you generally do the exercise, you're going to generally get the benefit. But the more of those specific details you can understand and get right, or be able to implement correctly into your exercise, the more you're going to be able to specifically get specific benefit and also develop specific skill with the energy as you do Qigong. And look, this is going to vary for different people. Some people are going to be quite happy to just generally follow along and generally do an exercise, generally get their chi flowing, and that's awesome, that's wonderful, that's great. Other people, well, you might have a specific problem you're trying to work on, in which case being able to specifically change the way you stimulate and flow your energy is going to help you to address that. Also, you might have an interest in developing specific skill with your energy. Remember, Qigong. Qi means energy, Gong means work or skill. We work with our energy as we do Qigong. Hopefully, or at least for some, if you're interested in this, you also develop skill with your energy. And when you do that, you can start to use your energy for specific things, both to help yourself and to help other people as well. Anyway, I hope you found this vlog useful. Hopefully it gives you a few things to think about in your Qigong practice, maybe to help you to understand some of what you're doing a little bit better, get a little bit more benefit from it. If you have enjoyed the vlog, I would invite you to like it, comment, share, subscribe, all those good things. I am hoping to reach lots of people with this, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.